Jaya Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Vihari Madhava Kunja Vihari Jaya Gopi Janava Girivaradhari Jaya Gopi Janava Girivaradhari Yashoda Nandana Vajana Yashoda Nandana Vajana Yamuna Tira Vanachari Yamuna Tira Vanachari Jaya Radha Madhava Vihari Jaya Radha Madhava Vihari Jaya Gopi Jana Vallabha Giridhari Jaya Gopi Jana Vallabha Giridhari Ashodanandana Ajajanarandana Yashodanandana Ajajanarandana Yamuna Tira Vanachari Yamuna Tira Vanachari Jaya Radha Madhava Vihari Radha Madhava Vihari Jaya Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivaradhari Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivaradhari Yashodanandana Brajajanarandana Yashodanandana Brajajanarandana Yamuna Tira Yamuna Tira Anachari Madhava Kabihari Sayanad Madhava Kabihari Jayagopijana Vallabha Givardhari Jayagopijana Vallabha Givardhari Yashodanandana Vajananandana Yashodanandana Vajananandana Yamunatira Anajari Yamunatira Anajari Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Hare Krishna Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Rama, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Rama, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Hare Rama. Sham Vishnupada, Praham Sabhari Dr. Chaya, Hildeswati Sri Srimad, His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Maharaj Prabhupada Ki Jai. His confounder Chaya Shila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Sham Vishnupada, Praham Sabhari Dr. Chaya, Hildeswati Sri Srimad, His Divine Grace, Bhaktivedanta Saraswati Goswami Maharaj Prabhupada Ki Jai. Kantarashri Amar Bhagavatam Ki Jai, Nitai Gaur Brahmanande Hari Hari. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 6, Chapter 1, titled The History of the Life of Ajmer. Text number 15. Kechit kevalaya bhaktya vasudeva parayana agham dunvanti kartsneya miharami vabaskara. Kechit kevalya bhaktya vasudeva parayana agham dunvanti kartsneya miharami vabaskara. Kechit kevalya bhaktya vasudeva parayana agham dunvanti kartsneya mihayami vabaskara. Kechit, some people. Kevalya bhaktya, by executing unalloyed devotional service. Vasudeva, toward Krishna, the all-pervading Supreme Personality of Godhead. Parayana, completely attached only to such service without dependence on austerity, penance, cultivation of knowledge, or pious activities. Agam, all kinds of sinful reactions. Dundvanti, destroyed. carts in a completely with no possibility that desire will revive. Nihara, fog. Eva, like. Bhaskara, the sun. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada, Srila Prabhupada, Ki Jai. Only a rare person who has adopted complete, unalloyed devotional service to Krishna can uproot the weeds of sinful actions with no possibility that they will revive. He can do this simply by discharging devotional service, just as the sun can immediately dissipate fog. Purport. In the previous verse, Shukadeva Goswami gave the example that the dried leaves and creepers beneath a bamboo tree may be completely burnt to ashes by a fire, although the creepers may sprout again because the root is still in the ground. Similarly, because the root of sinful desire is not destroyed in the heart of a person who is cold, but who has no taste for devotional service, there is a possibility that his sinful desires will reappear. As stated in the Srimad Bhagavatam, Shreyasrustim Bhaktim Dasyate Ribo, Krisham Tiye Kevalya Bodhala Pyaye. Speculators who undergo great labor to gain a meticulous understanding of the material world by distinguishing between sinful and pious activities, but who are not situated in devotional service, are prone to material activities. They may fall down and become implicated in furtive activities. If one becomes attached to devotional service, however, desires for material enjoyment, bhakti paresh anyatracha. If one is advanced in Krishna consciousness, material activities, both sinful and pious, automatically become distasteful to him. That is the test of Krishna consciousness. Both pious and impious activities are actually due to ignorance, because a living entity as an eternal servant of Krishna has no need to act for his personal sense gratification. Therefore, as soon as one is reclaimed to the platform of devotional service, he relinquishes his attachment for pious and impious activities and is interested only in what will satisfy Krishna. This process of bhakti, devotional service to Krishna, Vasudeva Parayana, relieves one from the reactions of all activities. Since Maharaj Parikshit was a great devotee, the answers of his guru, Shukadeva Goswami, concerning Karma Kanda and Jnana Kanda could not satisfy him. Therefore, Shukadeva Goswami, knowing very well the heart of his disciple, explained the transcendental bliss of devotional service. The word kechit, which is used in this verse, means a few but not all. Not everyone can become Krishna conscious. As Krishna explains in Bhagavad Gita, Manushyanam sahereshu kachit yatati siddhaye yatatam api sarantanam kaschin mavetati tatvata. Out of many thousands among men, one may endeavor for perfection, and of those who have achieved perfection, hardly one knows me in truth. Practically, no one understands Krishna as he is. For Krishna cannot be understood through pious activities or attainment of the most elevated speculative knowledge. Actually, the highest knowledge consists of understanding Krishna. Unintelligent men who do not understand Krishna are grossly puffed up, thinking that they are liberated, or have themselves become Krishna or Narayan. This is ignorance. To indicate the purity of bhakti, devotional service, Srila Rupa Goswami says in Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu, Anya Bilashitam Shunyam Jnana Karmadi Anvartam Anukulyena Krishnu Shilanam Bhaktir Uttamam. One should render transcendental loving service to the Supreme Lord Krishna favorably and without desire for material profit or gain through fruitive activities or philosophical speculation. This is called pure devotional service. Sri Rupa Goswami further explains that bhakti is kleshagni subhada, which means if one takes to devotional service, all kinds of unnecessary labor and material distress ceases entirely, and one achieves all good fortune. Bhakti is so powerful that it is also said to be moksha lagu takta. In other words, it minimizes the importance of liberation. Non-devotees undergo material hardships because they are prone to commit sinful activities. The desire to commit sinful activities continues in their hearts due to ignorance. These sinful actions are divided into three categories: pataka, mahapataka, and atipataka, and also in two divisions, parabdha and aparabdha. Parabdha refers to sinful reactions from which one is suffering at the present, and aparabdha refers to sources of potential suffering. When the seed, bij, is of sinful reactions have not yet fructified, the reactions are called aparabdha. These seeds of sinful reactions are unseen, but they are unlimited, and no one can trace when they were first planted. Because of parabdha, sinful reactions that have already fructified, one is seen to have taken birth in a low family or to be suffering from other miseries. When one takes to devotional service, however, all phases of sinful life, including parabdha, aparabdha, and bija, are vanquished. In Srimad Bhagavatam, Lord Krishna tells Uddhava, Yatagni susamrid harchi karoti edamsi bas masat tata madvishaya bhagir Uddhavanam si krits nasha. My dear Uddhava, devotional service in relationship to me with me is like a blazing fire that converts ashes, all the fuel of sinful activities supplied to it. How devotional service vanquishes the reactions of sinful life is explained in Srimad Bhagavatam, in a verse spoken during Lord Kapila Deva's instructions to his mother, Devahuti. Devahuti said, Yaname Dyashana Nukirtanad Yat Pravanad Yat Smaranad Api Swadopi Sadyas Savanaya Kalpate Kutapunaste Bhagavan Darshana. My dear Lord, if even a person born in a family of dog eaters hears and repeats the chanting of your glories, offers respects to you, and remembers you, he is immediately a Brahmana, and is therefore eligible to perform sacrifices. Therefore, what is to be said of one who has seen you directly? In the Padma Purana, there's a statement that persons whose hearts are always attached to the devotional service of Lord Vishnu are immediately released from all reactions of sinful life. These reactions generally exist in four phases. Some are ready to produce results immediately, some are in the form of seeds, some are unmanifest, and some are current. All such reactions are immediately nullified by devotional service. When devotional service is present in one's heart, desires to perform sinful activities have no place there. Sinful life is due to ignorance, which means forgetfulness of one's constitutional position as an eternal servant of God. But when one is fully Krishna conscious, he realizes that he is God's eternal servant. In this regard, Srila Jiva Goswami comments that bhakti may be divided into two divisions: sanatana, devotional service that continues incessantly with love and faith, and kadachiti, devotional service that does not continue incessantly, but is sometimes awakened. Incessantly flowing devotional service, sanatana, may also be divided into two categories: service performed with slight attachment and spontaneous devotional service. Intermediate and intermittent devotional service, kadachiti, may be divided into three categories: ragabhasamai, devotional service in which one is almost attached; rasashunya sarupa bhuta, devotional service in which there is no spontaneous love, but one likes the constitutional position of serving; and abhasarupa, a slight glimpse of devotional service. As for atonement, if one has caught even a glimpse of devotional service, all needs to undergo prayashchita, atonement, are superseded. Therefore, atonement is certainly unnecessary when one has achieved spontaneous love. And above that, attachment with love, which are signs of increasing advancement in kadachitaki. Even in the stage of abhasa rupa bhakti, all the reactions to sinful life are uprooted and vanquished. Srila Jiva Goswami expresses the opinion that the word kartsneya means that even if one has a desire to commit sinful activities, the roots of that desire are vanquished merely by abhasa rupa bhakti. The example of Bhaskara, the sun, is most appropriate. The abhas feature of bhakti is compared to twilight. The accumulation of one's sinful activities is compared to fog. Since fog does not spread throughout the sky, the sun need do no more than merely manifest its first rays, and the fog immediately disappears. Similarly, if one has even a slight relationship with devotional service, all the fog of a sinful life is immediately vanquished. Om Vignanacharamandasya, Kinanchana Shlakya, Chakshamaitamya, Tasmai Shri Guru Veda, Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya, Prabhu Nityananda, Shri Advaita Gadadara, Shri Sai Prabhupada. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Prabhupada wrote a very long purport to this verse. So we are getting to the point of this portion of the conversation of this question and answer volley that will introduce the story of Ashwin's life, where previously, as we've been reading, Shukadeva Goswami gave karma and jnana as means by which one could atone for sinful activities. And in this verse, we are coming to the point that is the actual conclusion, which is that only devotional service is true atonement. Because it not only gets rid of the various reactions of sinful activities, as explained in the latter portion of this purport, but also uproots the samskaras associated with it, uproots the propensity to do sinful activities. And this is what is actually needed in the world today. Because there's actually very little knowledge of karma kanda and jnana kanda. So that even if one wanted to undergo such purificatory processes or purification of sinful reactions, one can't really do it. And Prabhupada says in the purport that speculators are going to go great labor to gain a meticulous understanding of the material world by distinguishing sinful and pious activities, but who are not situated in a devotional service are prone to material activities. And we actually see in today's culture, in today's society, that everybody is speculating on what the correct course of action is for various issues. One person says, this is correct, this is true and right. The other side, he'll say, no, the opposite thing is true and correct. Because they're trying to understand by their speculation. I've talked before about the three epistemological tools, three ways of knowing given in Vedic literature. And usually speculation is termed or is tied to anuma, logical deduction. But as those who have studied some logic know that logical deductions are only as good as the premises that you give them, that you supply to them. So, because people are confused about the true purpose of life, the true value of life, people speculate in all kinds of ways. Some people say, oh, one should just be selfish, look out for number one, and that is morality. And they say, no, you should just give everything away and be totally unselfish and never think of yourself. Or, we should be focusing on this issue, and this is the correct way. And you'll say, no, that way is evil. This is the correct way. Because they have no knowledge of what the actual point of human life is. And if one does not know the true purpose of something, one doesn't know what the proper and improper ways to relate or to execute that activity or object. In relation to its purpose. One doesn't know the proper ways to execute one's duties because one doesn't even know what they are. And this is the fault, and this is the blemish of the age of Kali, in that very few people know what the actual goal of human life is. Because we are so enamored with various forms of sense enjoyment. Generally in Kali Yuga, most people don't even consider actually the sort of more refined sense enjoyment or refined approach to sense enjoyment that is given in some portions of the Vedic literatures. For example, the Karmakanda portions of the Vedas. Because they just have no knowledge that there's even a next birth or a previous birth. Many people today, you could say, are atheists. I find that a lot of times people who consider themselves intellectuals in the secular sense, or in the secular world or in academia, consider themselves atheists. They say, oh, why should I worry about death? I wasn't complaining before I was born, so why should I complain after I die? Because it's the same thing. Actually, if you read third canto Srimad Bhagavatam, then you actually do complain before you're born. But of course, they don't know that. And after death, there's another birth. But actually, really, a lot of people in Western countries, at least, you can't even necessarily consider atheists. I've heard the term apatheists used to describe them. So they don't even think about the question of, is there a God, is there a next life, etc., to care, much less think about what the goal of human life in relation to that supreme is. Because this is even on the point of religion. Religion is different than devotional service. Religion, Prabhupada writes in the introduction to Bhagavad Gita, religions have a point in history where they became manifest. Christianity became manifest with Jesus Christ, Islam with Muhammad, and one can go through the various religions and find points in history where they came into existence. While devotional service is actually beyond religion. One is that it is eternal. Devotional service is always there. Even in the latter parts of the age of Kali, there will be people doing devotional service. They will be hidden. At the end of the age of Kali, there won't necessarily be a Krishna consciousness movement in the way that the public way that we have now. There will still be people here and there practicing, from my understanding, at least. And devotional service is also beyond the ritualistic portions of religion, because it is actually about trying to render service in relationship with Lord Krishna, with the Supreme. And this is directly opposite the actual underlying philosophy of most, if not all, other worldviews or philosophies of life. We, say every day in Prabhupada's pranam mantras that he came to eradicate impersonalism and voidism from the Western world. Because impersonalism is exactly the opposite of devotional service. And we see impersonalism everywhere in various other philosophies. Even in various religious traditions, there can be strains of impersonal. Of course, you can, in whatever religious milieu one is attracted to, one can be a personalist there. But in many orthodox teachings of other religions, there are strains of impersonalism. I remember sometimes on the train in Philadelphia and in other places, one finds what are called chick traps. I don't know if anybody's ever seen them before. They're like, very tiny booklets that give a extremely simplistic understanding of Christian philosophy or theology. And I remember seeing in one, they're talking about the final judgment. And they showed a picture of God. And what did he look like? He was just this form, vaguely masculine form, wearing a robe with no face. He looked actually kind of like a mannequin that you'd see in a department store. And I remember just thinking, so I was practicing devotional service by attempting to practice devotional service by the time that I saw this. And so I remember thinking that it's such an impersonal idea of God. And you actually see it in a lot of places that you don't hear so much about God's activities. You know, God's in heaven and he doesn't have a body because, you know, we have bodies and God can't be like us. No, he doesn't have a body. He doesn't really do anything much. Just, you know, when people die, he judges them and sends them to heaven or hell or purgatory in some places. And that's pretty much it. And this is not a conception that one actually can have so much of a desire to have a relationship with. So I think about just our own interpersonal relationships. If somebody is just judging you all the time, whether that judgment is favorable or unfavorable even, it's not necessarily that we want that close of a relationship with such a person, because we want our relationships to be fulfilling, rather than just somebody looking at us and deciding if we are good enough or not. And this is bhakti. It is actual relationship with the Supreme. Of course, in other religions as well, there is bhakti, bhakti yoga, and sometimes even very advanced bhakti yogis in other religions. But the complete expression of bhakti yoga is given in devotional service, as shown by what is written in the Srimad Bhagavatam, and practically what is shown by Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, who, as we all know, is Krishna come as his own devotee to show us the way to actually perform devotional service. And this devotional service is beyond all other processes. We read here about that it's beyond the processes of karma and jnana, and it is even beyond liberation. That if one is practicing devotional service, then one is actually even beyond the need for liberation, or study of the Vedic literatures, or all other such things. It says in the Bhagavad Gita that the results that one gets by analytical study of the Sankhya system, the ritualistic actions, the study of the Vedas, atonements and penances, and all sorts of other things, is automatically granted. All of those results are automatically gained by one performing devotional service, which is very fortunate for us. In that, because for most of us, I'm assuming, we did not have the chance, at least in this life, to study the Vedas, look into the Sankhya system, perform all sorts of austerities, and such things. But due to the mercy of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and Srila Prabhupada, we have been given the chance to perform devotional service and actually go back to Godhead, go to the spiritual world at the end of this very short lifetime. Of course, some of us might be carrying over. We might have done these things in our previous lives and have just now got the proper conclusion. But we have been given this dispensation, this easy process for going back to Godhead, and for dealing with all of the sources of potential suffering and potential enjoyment, even. Because all material enjoyment is bound up with material suffering. This is a world of duality. One cannot have good things without some admixture of bad things. But to get rid of all of this, both the attachment to the suffering and to the enjoyment, one can perform devotional service. And even some little taste of devotional service, some very beginning stages, has power. One does not have to even make it all the way to the liberated stage, to the professional stage of devotional service, to have these benefits, these effects be accrued. I mean, even if somebody practices devotional service for some time and then leaves, they still have immeasurable benefits. You know, people who have been in the movement for a while probably have seen people come and then leave, and then even sometimes become inimical to the process of devotional service after leaving. But still, those people are immeasurably benefited. And later on, whether in their next life or even in this life, will get the chance to advance more on the path of devotional service. And this is actually the purpose of human life, is to advance in devotional service, is to revive our lost relationship with Krishna, and to purify ourselves through this process of devotional service of all material contamination. So I'll stop here. I've rambled on enough. Any comments, questions? etc. Thank you for your comments. Any other comments or questions? Okay, going once. Going twice. Right. Thank you, everybody, for your comments.